D.C. market in particular, but it's also of interest to a lot of our other markets in the RCN area. Merry, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you about Shootout for Soldiers and our mission and what we do to help American veterans.
Oh, it's great. It's a great event, first of all. So maybe you could talk about how it started and how you came aboard with it, and where the money is raised, where does it go to?
I'd be more than happy to. Shootout for Soldiers was started by a group of high school students in Maryland. In fact, our CEO, Tyler Steinhardt, is one of the founders that started this event. They had watched a 60 Minutes story about veterans coming back to the United States and not having services available, and thought they had a senior project. Let's see if we can raise money for the veterans organizations that they mentioned. And the only way they knew how to do it was through lacrosse, because that's what they loved. Mm-hmm. They started playing lacrosse for 24 hours in 2012, raised a little bit of money, and thought this might catch on. And that is how the event started, which is now 6 years old. We've raised over $2.5 million in the 12 locations that we have had the event. And we look forward to this 2018 year expanding to the Washington, D.C. area and having an event in our capital, which is so appropriate for Shootout for Soldiers. The charity partners, and the way Shootout for Soldiers works is we have 4 national charity partners, and then every local organizer gets to choose 2 or 3 local charity partners, so that the money that's raised during that 24 hours stays within that general location, which is unique in regards to a lot of other charities that it goes to one location and then is split up. We try to keep all of the money that's raised within that location in that location. So the national charity partners that we work with are Semper Fi, Ranger Lead the Way, the Gary Sinise Foundation, and Team Red, White, and Blue, which all have local facilities within the area that our events are located. The local charity partner for Washington, D.C. this year is Operation Renewed Hope Foundation and the Yellow Ribbon Fund, both amazing local charities within the Washington, D.C. area that are going to benefit immensely from the Shootout for Soldiers event.
Merry, it seems like this is just the perfect formula for a very successful event. In 6 years, $2.5 million. Has the interest grown each and every year?
Well, as you know, lacrosse is the fastest growing sport, and putting it together with a charity partnership is what has helped grow Shootout for Soldiers every single year. We accept applications for locations, and then they go through interviews to see if it's the right local organizer that has the right community support that can host an event. All of our local organizers are all volunteers, which makes the event even more amazing when you think that a local organizer who works a full-time job takes on the responsibility of putting on a 24-hour charity event to raise money for our veterans. The local organizer in Washington, D.C. is actually an active Navy officer now. So the connection that our local organizers have to the veteran community is one of those unique situations where those people support the event, but we're also giving back to the veterans that have served.
You're absolutely right. Lacrosse is growing by leaps and bounds in terms of fan interest, in terms of participation interest, and I'd like to think that the Washington, D.C. area, with some great institutions, college programs, growing high school programs, I'd like to think that is the perfect spot for an event like yours.
It is definitely the perfect spot. We are so excited about Washington, D.C. this year. And just to give you a little background, we have traditional teams that register to play, youth through masters, any age, any ability, but we also have non-traditional teams because it is a charity event. It's not a competitive event. You're either on the Stars team or Stripes team, and it's a cumulative score of hours, which turns out to usually be pretty close, usually between 5 and 7 points, which makes it a lot of fun. The unique teams and that will register for this type of an event. In Ohio last year, we had the first all goalie team. The goalies played every position with goalie sticks. Washington, D.C. is also going to have an all-goalie team. We've had family teams where we had 3 generations on the field. The grandparents and parents, most of them have never picked up a stick before but wanted to play with their kids. We have had a father-daughter game. We have switched sticks game. So what we do in the way of letting the community get involved is it does not have to be a traditional team. We encourage people to come that want to form a team and just go out and play for an hour and have a good time. Each team is in charge of fundraising to $750, and that money goes back to our veterans charities. And they can actually play for someone maybe that was in their family. We'll have kids that have said, my grandfather was in the Navy, I'm going to play for him. So it's a way for the community to connect, the lacrosse community to connect, and the community as a whole to connect with the veterans in a lacrosse and in a sporting venue for 24 hours, and a way for them to have some contact. We try to have a veteran go and talk to teams before they go out. So if they don't have a personal connection, they make a connection.
Sounds like an incredibly emotional, patriotic day. Are there other elements besides the lacrosse? Maybe special T-shirts that are made, raffles, refreshments, anything that adds to the fundraising?
Yes, because we don't call this a lacrosse showcase or tournament. It's called a lacrosse festival. There are T-shirts that every player, veteran, and volunteer will get that will say the name of the location of the event. Well, so it would be Shootout for Soldiers, Washington, and our sponsors are on the back of that. And then Under Armour is our official apparel sponsor. So they make specific apparel with the Shootout for Soldiers logo that we sell at the event, and that money goes back to our veterans charities as well. There'll be raffles. Each event is the local organizer of each event gets a chance to really put on the type of festival that works in their area. So we'll have event organizers that have dunk tanks, live music, raffles, fastest shot, hot dog eating contest, donut eating contest, face painting. It really is up to that organizer, but we try to really create this festival atmosphere with it benefiting our veterans charities. The other thing that happens during the event is all our veterans charities set up tents and will be there for the entire 24 hours, personally connecting with the lacrosse community, with the players, with the spectators that come to the event, so that those people get a chance to see where the money goes and what the money does for each of these charities. So having that personal connection with our charities that we support makes a huge difference, especially going forward, so that in a year or two, if a person or a player or an attendee understands more about the charities and might give more or volunteer their time more to some of these charities that we support.
I know the event starts June 23rd at Longbridge Park. Could you talk a little bit about more of the specifics, and maybe for people that are not as familiar with the D.C. area, how do they get there?
Well, I can tell you that if they go to the shootoutforsoldiers.com website, that there'll be a map, which will be able to guide them to get to the park. The event itself starts at 9 a.m., and we'll have an opening ceremony, and then our first game at the event, and in all our events, is our veterans game. So we have veterans that come in and play from all over. They get a chance to, a lot of them that haven't picked up sticks in years, but they play for that first hour, and that is such an emotional and wonderful thing to see and watch. Because the camaraderie that these guys feel when they get back on that field together is just overwhelming. The other thing that we also do is we do the national anthem 24 times. We do it each time before we start a game, so that can get a little emotional when you get to about that 22nd hour and you realize, wow, we've done this for 22 hours. We're going into our 23rd hour. The event in itself, like I said, food trucks, bands, different games, and a lot of fun that anyone can come out and enjoy, even if it's just coming out and grabbing a sandwich for a quick lunch or something to eat for dinner. We'd love to have you come out. It does not cost anything to attend the event. It's you walk in, you watch, and you learn, and you see, and you experience this overwhelming, amazing feeling about giving back to our veterans.